What's happening, my friends? Welcome back to the channel. This is going to be another entry for the MMA Legends series. I thought it was very fitting to do a Carlos Condit video considering he just retired. What a lengthy and storied, amazing career. Has fought a who's who in the sport, revered by fans and fighters. Carlos Condit is the definition of a fighter. So without wasting any more time, guys, let's get into his career. Alright, so Carlos Joseph Condit, born April 26, 1984. He ended his mixed martial arts career with a record of 32 wins, 14 losses, 13 submission wins, 15 knockout wins. He's a purple belt in BJJ, 10th Planet Jiu-Jitsu, and a brown belt in traditional BJJ. His dimensions: 6'1", 75.5-inch reach. He does have a background in kickboxing. The majority of his career was at welterweight. So some of Carlos Condit's accolades. He's the former UFC interim welterweight champ, the welterweight champ of WEC. He's competed for shoot boxing and pancrase. So Condit, again born in 1984 in Albuquerque, New Mexico. His descent is that of Austrian, German, Native American, and Mexican. Condit began martial arts training at the age of 9. He used to wrestle and continued throughout high school. He started training under the tutelage of Greg Jackson at 15 years old. At 18 years old, he turned professional in the fighting world. It took him less than a minute to submit his first opponent via rear naked choke. Condit went on to have more experience in MMA and fighting, eventually made his way to WEC back in 2007. His debut was at WEC 25, and in his debut he defeated Kyle Jensen via first round rear naked choke. He went on to win the WEC welterweight title from John Alessio. His end record in his WEC stint was a perfect 5-0. Carlos Condit's UFC debut was back in 2009, and his first fight was against Martin Kampmann. It was a tough back and forth fight, with Condit eventually losing via split decision. After the Martin Kampmann fight, Carlos went on a 5-fight win streak, beating the likes of Jake Ellenberger, Rory McDonald, Dan Hardy, Don Hyun Kim, and Nick Diaz, which awarded him the UFC interim welterweight belt. It was after the Nick Diaz fight that Carlos Condit started going on a downslide, but he's fought so many tough names, so many greats. Just to list off some of the people he lost to: George St. Pierre, Johnny Hendricks, Tyron Woodley, Robbie Lawler, Damian Maia. From 2012 to 2018, Carlos Condit had 10 fights. He only won 2. He rebounded with 2 back-to-back wins, defeating Court McGee and the very tough and durable Matt Brown. And ultimately, his last fight was at UFC 264, July 10th, 2021, against Max Griffin, where he lost that fight via unanimous decision. After the fight, definitely Carlos looked dejected. There was a big question mark. Was he going to continue fighting? Being 37 years old, you tend to not get better as a fighter nearing 40, but further decline. All questions were answered when Carlos Condit and his team made it publicly clear that Carlos Condit was done fighting. He stated he wasn't done competing. He may still compete in BJJ matches, but as far as being an elite mixed martial arts fighter, trying to become a champion again, fighting the best of the best, Carlos admitted that it's time that he walks away. Now, here are my personal thoughts on Carlos Condit, MBK. Personally, one of my favorite fighters of all time. How could you not love Carlos Condit as a fighter? There's no nonsense with him. There's no gimmicks. He's a real life badass in BMF. Every time he competed, he left it all in the cage. Show me or name one boring Carlos Condit fight. He has 28 finishes on his resume, 15 via knockout, 13 via submission. Carlos was technical on the feet. He employed kicks in his arsenal, solid boxing, mixed bag of tricks on the feet. He had a pretty competent ground game, very crafty off his back with submissions. I'd say a granite chin, an indomitable will to win. Certainly 100% one of the toughest fighters to ever compete in the sport. If you look at Carlos Condit's resume, the who's who that he's competed against, stack his resume up with any other fighter, past or present, and you'd be hard pressed to find a better fight list or opponents. The man's a legend. He's a fighting legend, plain and simple. I wish Carlos Condit the very best going forward. I personally think it was time for him to walk away, because at the level he was competing at this stage in his career, he wasn't the MBK that we know and love. but I'm always going to remember the natural born killer Carlos Condit for being a true savage in that cage, bringing it every time, entertaining and amazing fights, wars, personally inspiring me to even take up training. To say that I'm a big fan of Carlos Condit is an understatement. He's just a man. Anyway guys, that's going to wrap up this short Legends tribute video to the natural born killer Carlos Condit. Drop those comments, let me know what you think about him as a fighter, his career. If you want to drop some favorite fights, favorite moments, please feel free. I would enjoy reading those. Thanks for watching this segment, guys. If this is your first time at the channel and you enjoy the content, consider hitting that subscribe button, like and share the video, as that helps the channel grow. Thank you so much guys, and until the next segment, you all take care. NBK, enjoy retirement.